And we're back.
We're back.
Which is with what is most likely going to be an addendum to the last episode, but hey, you never know. I breezed past a dumbfounded Eustace back toward the Abbey, and then realized that I forgot my power gauntlet over on the other side of the desk. So I'm going to reach over and grab that, and now I've got it. I put her behind me and walked as fast as I could. I could hear her shouting behind me as I put distance between us. Eustace, Angela, the superior, they were all making demands of me. But I served one and one alone. Hedwig! Leave it be! Leave it alone! Hedwig! Listen to me! Served one and one alone. She listed the soup among those making demands of her and not presumably who she served.
Yeah, God.
Is she speaking of God or is she speaking of someone else? Also, what just happened? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Like rolling thunder noise? And then just not going to address that. Okay. We're just going to let that go. That's fine. The search continued well into the evening. As darkness fell, the weather turned foul. It was pouring now, and the stone walls rumbled as the rolling thunder shook the mountain itself. We all gathered in the chapel again. From a quick glance around the room, I gathered that everyone had returned empty-handed. Charity took the altar again, looking grim. No joy? Oh, no joy? That's rather worrying. No joy?
Yeah?
I don't...
Oh, that's just a common phrase.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
No joy, like, didn't work out, no success.
That
no
makes
luck?
sense. Thank you for explaining that. I legitimately did not know that.
We've looked everywhere.
Why are you still covered in wine? Nope. Nope. No, nope. 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 It is the next day. You are covered.
I mean, how does everybody else look? Who was there? Do they have another wimple?
They said they made a point of saying that, but who else was it? Was Moira. It was Hedwig. Who else was down there? No, Eustace was down there with them.
Eustace, Catherine.
And Eustace was perfectly
Adela.
clean.
Interesting.
And the soup had nothing to say about people's appearances in the morning.
Interesting.
The soup would have said something. Moira just straight up showing up among the other nuns like this.
Everybody is. That's a... Huh. I explored places I had never been before.
Okay, no, something else is going on here, right? Right,
Is it?
Something else has to be going on.
Is it?
Yes. Everyone had put in a lot of work, it seemed. There had been no time to relax or get changed. Some of our frocks were still covered in wine. Again, that happened last night. I believe that but with the soup saying nothing about it?
The soup said all kinds of things. She was furious about the mess of the state things were in. Maybe the stained frocks were the least of it.
Maybe. Okay, she did call him out for... Maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna need to... When I've got a clearer head, I want to look back over this again, because it's something about it isn't sitting right, but I'm gonna need more time to think it over than just, flying live here. It would have been motivating had the situation been slightly less grim. The determination I had felt after my conversation with Eustace was being tested. I wanted to blurt out that I had a good idea of where Flora might be. We could all walk down that hallway together. Surely there was nothing so frightening down there as nearly a dozen women could not face. But if someone here were responsible for some grand plan that I did not understand, would I just be putting Flora in more danger? No. You know what? Actually, no, I can't.
Can't what?
Hedwig's actions are not making sense to me. She is very much editorializing some details after in the retelling here. This is... I don't believe that no one else went down to check that hallway during this round of searching. At all. Because Hedwig wasn't in charge of that place, but... Would I be placing myself in harm's way? Appearing too observant, too clever? I'd make myself the next target if I spoke up now. I tried not to think about which of these two arguments swayed me more. Stressing over my plan was putting my stomach in knots. I hoped someone else might suggest what I could not, but that was never going to happen. My cell was not, and had never been, on anyone's mind. My cell had never been in any of these women's hearts. As I looked around the room, I noticed that Marta was standing off to the side of the chapel alone. She looked gaunt and weak. I had been consistently surprised by her vigor up until now, but for the first time, she looked her age. Is there anywhere else that has not been scoured? The cellars, the croft?
Those were my first ideas.
Catherine's not covered in wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that inconsistency between who has wine and... Yep. I see.
And I know Adela looked in the same places after I did.
That's interesting.
I think that all of us may have individually checked everywhere, one after the other. We've all doubled up.
I do not doubt that people have put their back into it, just... Oh, I am worried.
I really hope she's safe. If only we had looked a little harder last night.
It is not your fault. Missing for one night, that's just acting out. Missing for 2 nights.
We've done everything we can today, I'm afraid. I think we all need to rest and try again tomorrow.
Rest and try again tomorrow? That's such a weird course of action for someone who's missing.
Yeah.
It's like if you've looked over every inch of the Abbey twice, nothing's going to change about doing it again tomorrow, right?
My feet are killing me. No. We have to keep looking.
I understand how seriously we're all taking this, but we should take a breather. A night's sleep is what we all need right now. We'll expand out beyond the grounds tomorrow, I think. I don't need any of you falling asleep and rolling down the hill. Floor missing is quite enough, thank you. Everyone seemed to agree, albeit reluctantly. When I had left Eustace in the garden, a plan had formed in my mind. I had a sneaking suspicion where Flora was, but I dared not share it with the rest of the sisters. Again, they just said they checked everywhere. They've checked there. She's not there. There was a place I was certain nobody had checked. A place I knew even Margaret had likely avoided, even if she had considered it. The thought terrified me, but I knew I had to check. Okay. For Flora's sake.
We'd established quite some time ago that nobody knows all the hidden nooks and crannies of Lynn Barrow.
Okay, you're absolutely right. Nobody knows all the hidden nooks and crannies.
So it can be true that everybody checked everywhere twice or more, and yet that they wouldn't have seen everything because everybody had checked everywhere that they know of.
Gotcha. Okay. I was thinking specifically about the hallway to Hedwig's cell and how that's not a hidden area, right? That's just a part of the Abbey that people know about.
Yep.
But, like, you're right. I hadn't been considering, like, the hidden passages in between the walls. We all filed out of the chapel back toward the dorms through the storm.
I really hope she isn't out in this weather. If she is, I would wager she is safe. She is young and resourceful. Remember when Catherine taught us all how to make fires? I do. You're right. She's probably having a more comfortable night than us.
Moira, you have the most inappropriate reactions to, like, everything going on around you. Adela rubbed Moira's shoulder reassuringly, then broke off to go and talk to Angela.
Someone should someone tell the superior what we did today? I wouldn't. I went to try and talk to her earlier, and I could hear her sobbing. Even through that thick door of hers. I imagine she's been getting shouted at by the bishop all day. I don't think we should talk to her until we have good news.
Is the soup going to be dead?
Interesting. It's interesting that some folks have established you can't hear shit through the door. Here it's like, you can hear this through the door. Marta's like, oh, Bishop's probably been shouting at her all day, but the Bishop has never given any inclination so far of being a shouty guy.
Yeah, the Bishop
It's been
has
the superior who's been shouty, and the Bishop who's been like, hold up, calm down, everybody.
Yeah, the Bishop's almost been a doormat.
Yeah.
Just kind of like refusing to stand up, refusing to stop the soup from doing what she's doing.
So I'm not sure I believe Marta's explanation.
Neither do I.
It also establishes that there's a place that folks haven't checked, even though they said they checked everywhere.
The soup's office.
Inside the soup's office.
Yep.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
I really think something else is going on in this scene. And, the moment I sat down on my bed, I had a sinking feeling that I was not going to be able to sleep before I had a chance to test my theory. I could just sense it. No, my bones told me. I sighed and rolled onto my back, fully dressed. Is this slower than the last time we heard it?
I don't know.
Yep. I was right. It's the wrong RPM version. Oh yeah, you can hear it now when the melody kicks in.
Yeah.
I stared at the ceiling for a while. The thick stone walls gave us a great deal of privacy, and I had to strain to hear the slightest indication that the others were getting ready for bed. Thought about cracking open the copy of Medea that Catherine had written for me, but remembered the subject matter and decided now was not the right time. I said a little prayer, asking for some guidance, and no wisdom came to me. But then I sheepishly remembered that I had been granted an entire vision not long ago. As always, I was asking for far too much and doing far too little. For at least an hour, I stewed in my own thoughts. I tossed and turned, trying to find a position in my bed that didn't get uncomfortable after a few minutes. I scratched issues that weren't really there, attempted to fluff my pillow into a shape that could grant me sleep the instant my head touched it. And just started getting comfortable, I swear, when I heard a strange sound carrying on outside my door. I hopped out of bed and stepped out into the hall. It was almost pitch black out here, save for the embers pulsing in the fireplace. Nobody else, it seemed, was bothered enough by the noise to poke out their head like I had. I sighed. I hoped dimly that it had been Flora returning to her dorm. Retrieved a lit candle from the mantelpiece. There was no use torturing myself in bed any longer. Now, which room was Flora's? I knew Catherine's room was next to mine and had the squeaking door. Remembered Moira's room had inky paw prints leading out of it next to Catherine's. Darcy's was on the very end of my row, closest to the hearth. I chanced a door that I couldn't place. I felt so nosy, but if I could spare myself a horrid adventure into that hall. Ever so gently, I pushed the unfamiliar door with my finger. Really? You're like, oh, I'm so worried about Flora. I'm gonna look at a random door in this hallway. I realized this was not a particularly wise idea. The door swung inward. Not only was it rude, it was conspicuous. Pushed this door in just a little more before thinking better of it. Just before I relented, however, I caught something odd. I could hear at least 2 people breathing on the other side of this door. They must have been discussing where else to look for Flora, I reasoned, and gone late into the night out of concern. Yeah, that's the most sensible. Yeah, you're, Hedwig, I say this with love and respect. I don't trust you. You are not... I think she's using her lack of knowledge about the world and social norms at large as a kind of a shield to obfuscate some of the stranger decisions she's made that she doesn't want to have to justify.
To accomplish what?
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. Why are you doing this? What has happened? I just... Ugh. It rankles me in the back of my head. Or perhaps a darker voice in the back of my head suggested they had been scheming on what cruelties to enact on her next. Just then I heard a startling sound. Come from far away, but even so, it was blood-curdling. Danger. I scampered out of the dormitories and onto the landing. I did my best to steel myself. Only I'd thought to demand Eustace lend me the sword when I had found the courage to stand up to her in the garden. The pricket would have to do. I heard it again. This time it was mixed with that same hair-raising whine I had heard in my cell's hallway. My heart stopped. That was definitely a woman yelling. Screaming? I panicked. Was I too late? I had not told any of the others about my theory. Flora was hiding in my old cell. None of them could know. If Flora was the target of someone's dark machinations the way Catherine had been, I had to be the one to find her. I picked up my pace and jogged toward the dark hallway crossing. The huge door was rattling in the wind again, but that wasn't the source of the sound I was chasing. It was definitely coming from the darkest hall. The one that my cell was in. The one that the evil sigil was in. The evil sigil? I thought the evil sigil was, or the quote-unquote evil sigil, was in one of the passageways between walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I froze for a moment, unsure what to do. The pride I had felt deducing the one place nobody would have thought to check had been enough to make me forget about that. The pricket's spike could defend me in a pinch if I were face to face with Flora's human attacker, but if it was some devil summoned by that magic circle, could I go down there alone? Should I rouse the superior? Did I have time to rouse anyone? There was that horrible wail again. It gave me my answer. However small, however vulnerable, however powerless I felt, I knew that there was no time to double back. Demonic sigils be damned. I was a woman of faith. I could withstand whatever it summoned. I sprinted down the hall into the darkness. My candle blew out almost instantly, but I didn't have time to care. I ripped the wax off the pricket to expose the sharp point. It wasn't much, but this would have to serve as my sword for now. I rushed headlong toward the terrible sound, clutching the candle pricket with both hands as if I were wielding a mighty claymore. A face rushed out of the darkness.
Hedwig, run!
It all happened too quickly for me to register that I had been correct. Flora blew past me, nearly knocking me over. I did not have time to ask what was happening. I could hear the terrifying stomp of those boots echoing throughout the halls. We sprinted through the black hall to the dim light ahead of us and turned toward the giant rattling door. Flora bolted straight at it, past the hallway that would take us back toward the dorms. Wait, where are you going?
Away from here.
I was about to break left for the dormitories, but then I saw exactly why Flora had avoided that path. I caught a glimpse of evil eyes and felt the dull thud of metal boots against the floor close by. Flora's pursuer had navigated to cut us off. I screamed and sprinted as fast as I could after Flora. We made it to the door. I didn't even want to think about how close our pursuer was. Where were you? What's happening?
Help me open this, now.
She was pushing against the imposing door with all of her might, but it wouldn't budge. I threw my meager weight against it like the edge of it to try and help, but it was so heavy I felt like I might have well been pushing against a stone wall. The wind was pressing it shut, and two small women whose shoes were slipping over the flagstone floor weren't doing much to combat it. My fingers were in danger of being caught in the jam every time the door buckled, but I kept pushing. I turned my head and caught a glimpse of the monster bearing down on us. It was tall and as terrible as I remembered, but this time it was enveloped in a cloud of smoke. Embers crackled around its soulless eyes. There was no oiled sword this time. This monster brought the very fires of hell with it. Eustace! This isn't funny! Even though I knew it couldn't be her, I pleaded just in case. I still had a dim hope that this was just another prank, that Eustace had been telling the truth after all, but the creature was unmoved. The giant oaken door finally swung open just enough for me to slip through. I turned to try to yank Flora out with me, grabbing a handful of whatever cloth I could find as I made it outside, but the door caught her foot as I pulled her through.
Help!
I held onto her free hand with both of mine. She yelped, and I could tell the monster on the other side of the threshold had grabbed onto her.
Don't let go.
I won't! I won't! Her face contorted and twisted as the door squeezed her ankle. At the very least, it was doing enough to keep the demon from pulling her away from me. Had it not been for that massive slab of wood, I doubt it would have been able to help at all.
Hedwig.
The wind let up for a moment, and the sudden lack of force sent us both off balance as the weight of the door lifted. We fell down, and the door swung open just far enough for me to see that our attacker had let go of Flora as well. She was scrambling towards me on all fours, but the beast lurched forward to snatch her again. I held my hands out again to hold onto the poor girl's arm. Her fingers gripped my frock, and I held her wrist as tightly as I could, but I knew I could not combat this monster alone. The wind suddenly picked up again, and just as both of us got a hold of Flora, the door slammed shut again with a sickening crunch. I managed to pull Flora clear of the beast's lunge, but I hadn't been fast enough to keep her leg from being crushed by the door. She wailed as I attempted to pull her free. Couldn't manage it, and I was terrified that the door would pull her broken leg right off if I yanked any harder.
Pull.
I can't. Is it still holding on to you?
I don't know. I can't feel anything.
She was sobbing and screaming. I planted my feet against the wall and pulled her toward me. By some miracle, the wind let up just enough for the door to loosen its grip on Flora's leg. We tumbled backwards into a heap. My head hit the floor with a crack, and for a moment my vision faded. My eyes slowly regained focus, and I looked up into the threshold. The twisted creature was looming over us. I closed my eyes once more and braced myself for the end, and hoped, despite everything, that I would see heaven. But death never came. When I opened my eyes, the monster was gone. The door swung shut again, slower this time. The wind was still blowing, but it had died down just a little. Flora wasn't moving. I shook her gently in an attempt to rouse her. There. I think it's gone. She did not answer. I held onto her tight and stared up into the night sky. What a mess I had made of everything. Raindrops pelted in my face. I knew I had to move, but I was wholly leaden. The events of the past few weeks and their brutal dismantling of my steady faith were weighing me down. I scarcely recognized myself. And I actively tried to reject the situation I found myself in. Actively tried to reject the situation she found herself in. Interesting. Pain in the back of my head was getting unbearable. I squeezed my eyes shut. I am dreaming, I remember thinking. This is not real. Those cards even told me. No. I could not consider pagan frivolities. I was a faithful anchoress. I was simply having a long, horrible nightmare. Another vision. You open your eyes again, I told myself. You will be home. You'll be back in your cell, dry and warm, your oath intact. And maybe you'll be able to try it all over again. I had no such luck.
Damn.
Holy fuck! So, my mind is currently like bursting with stuff right now. I have so much music by La Monaca di Monza. Didn't we look that up?
Yeah, isn't that also the name of an Italian film about nuns?
Yeah, it is. It is, absolutely is. First of all, let me say, this game is fucking incredible. If you haven't yet, go out and get it for yourself, okay? Because this is awesome.
This is really good.
This is really good. I'll tell you right now, I plan to have us, before Volume 2 comes out, I want Vivian and I to do kind of a... kind of like we did for Umaneka, we'll do like a theory testing video just to see what we know, what we actually know, what we think we know, what we don't know, what could be going on here. Just so we can all get on the same, on the same place as things go forward. if you've got stuff that you want to share, any thoughts about this game now that we're all the way through it, we still have a channel on our Discord for Misericorde. And you can absolutely share your stuff there or in the comment section below. That's where we've been pulling from for some of our discussions and reactions to what you guys have been saying. And it would be awesome to hear more from you. I am so fucking excited for Volume 2.
Volume 2.
I don't think there's a release date for it yet, but there has been some key art for it already shown. I am going to have so much fun with this.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm going to let the credits run for this. I know these are just backwards, but still, this is great. This is... Oh, man. Oh, also, go get the soundtrack if you haven't yet. Soundtrack is also on Bandcamp, and it's like 5-6 hours long. Because, Volume 1 of your game needs a 6-hour soundtrack.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fucking go all out, why don't you?
Yeah, right? I mean, as long as you're going to flex this hard, why not go for it?
So, did Hedwig kill Flora with that candle pricket?
So I'm thinking, that was one of the things I was thinking. I was also thinking Flora was killed the night before. The scene where they're cracking open barrels of wine, or all taking turns with it, that wasn't barrels of wine. I don't know why. The thing that's like, I've got lots of like mechanical ways it could fit together, but the why of things is currently eluding me. I think Eustace is right that there is a fundamental aspect about the nuns' relationship with one another and with Catherine that we don't understand yet.
Mm-hmm.
And until we can tease out what that is, it's going to be very hard to put together the why done it. But taking a stab at it right now, just out of the blue, gut feeling, I think the scene where they're breaking open the wine barrels is actually them dismembering Flora.
Really?
Yeah. All taking a turn at it.
That's surprising.
Again, this is just literally off the cuff.
Eustace, the one warning us away from things, is there for it.
Was she warning us away from things? She was acting very strangely during that entire monologue she had. Almost
That's
out
true.
of character. I was wondering if that was perhaps another vision or a way of Hedwig editorializing. I guess what
does that get us?
I don't know. That's the thing, is that like I'm having a hard time at this moment. I guess my biggest hurdle at this moment for trying to take stuff apart here is, what can we actually trust from what Hedwig is telling us? We know she's interpolating her visions as if they were literal fact into her narrative, which means she is interpolating things into the narrative that, in a physical, literal sense, did not happen. They were things she experienced, but she was never lifted up by the scruff of her neck and placed on top of a hill. Given that that is the case, we can't take every single thing she says as literal fact, but I don't know where that puts the line. And until we figure out where that is, it's going to be hard to like start to get grounding to work stuff out, That's what I'm currently thinking of. I think everyone in any stock image recording or tool that is used in this production, you made the solo project possible. Oh yeah. No. Hello. There's more. Oh, we're back in the...
Yeah.
It is growing rather late, isn't it? I apologize, but I think I will leave my story there for tonight. I did not cover anything close to what I consider the full story, but that is a rather exciting place to leave things, is it not? Even if you know what happens, there's still a sense of, oh, I don't know. I felt something recalling these misadventures, even though I had lived them. Misadventures. Do you know how things turned out? No. Don't tell me who you are. I am getting some enjoyment out of imagining telling this story to an impartial audience. Please don't be frustrated with me for stopping here with my investigation just barely started. I promise you that all of these details, they are important. I may not have realized it at the time, In fact, I only just noticed the importance of some things after speaking them out loud to you. So, really, I must thank you. May I confide something in you? This is the first time that I feel like I really understand the job of a chronicler. Or rather, I finally have something worth chronicling. And someone to tell those chronicles to. It's a shame that it took so long for me to feel inspired. And that these are such awful events, but I suppose that the worst events are the ones that need the best records. Would you agree? In that spirit, I can offer you some of my notes. I believe I have some from the appropriate time I can share with you. Here. They aren't much, but you can peruse these while I prepare for our next meeting. Anyway, I must rest. We can continue this soon. Thank you for listening to me prattle on and on. I'll be ready to share more before you know it.
Are the notes like side materials? Is that an actual thing?
So I think what we get... Yes, okay. I remember reading at some, like a comment at some point for someone talking about like a character tip screen. I'm like,
okay.
What the hell?
Okay,
Really?
let's see that. Let's see those
Hold
character
on, there's
tips.
also a chapter select.
Yeah.
I just want to see what the chapters look like. Prologue, chapter 1. Okay, they're just chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Because I was thinking like in Human Echo, we get like times of day and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that like, or it gives you that, like you get that while you're playing, but it gives it too clearly and stated. So, but, okay. Gallery. A lot of CGs.
Sure is.
Hey there!
Hey, what's up, God? God looks kind of like the bishop.
A little bit?
Characters.
All right.
Let's click
we do
around.
have a thing of profiles. Let's, okay, that's Catherine. Oh, Hedwig! We do get an image of Hedwig!
Former anchoress, current spy, Matthew 26:52. What's Matthew 26:52?
What is Matthew 26:52?
Then Jesus said to him, "Put your sword back into its place, for all who take the sword will perish by the sword."
Well, that is... Yeah, that's kind of menacing, huh? Catherine, the chronicler. A friendship that was cut before it could fully bloom. I've never seen her face, and I miss her dearly. I've heard so much about her good works, but I have so many questions about what seem to be her flaws. I feel ghastly picking over the reins of her relationships, but I suppose it has to be done. She's just superior, not... Her name is Marta, right?
No, Mabel.
Mabel, right. Marta's over here.
Yeah.
Mabel. I got the MA part right. I must remain polite as I write this. I respect the work that goes into running an abbey greatly. I understand her desire to find justice in a terrible situation. I just... Catherine with a K. Dabbler. Catherine is boorish and vain, but worst of all, she is incredibly clever. She's clearly impulsive, as evidenced by the facts I am too pure to write. I'm unsure how sincere her eulogy for Catherine with a C was. She makes it sound like they had a very competitive friendship. There are also rumors about her life before the Abbey that give me pause. Margaret, Almoner. Quiet, calm, and very talented. At first I was at a loss as to how she and Catherine with a K could be such close friends, but they both have a wicked sense of humor. They're too clever by half. Margaret knows all the passageways around the Abbey. She also showed me a terrible etching deep within the walls. She and Catherine with a C seem to have been very close. Eustace, the sacristan. I'm not sure what to make of my colleague. Her flat affect makes it difficult to understand what she really thinks. We do not share the same sense of humor, and she can be cruel, but so can I am discovering. And Eustace is very forgiving. She knows something I do not. I am worried what that might be. Darcy, Alcavisionist.
Alcavisionist.
That is a stoner metal album with like one 60-minute drone track on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Lynn Barrow's own little Hildegard. She cooks, she brews, she cares for all the plants and animals. I must admit I didn't expect any of that from her when we first met. Her manner of speaking is even flatter than Eustace's. Perhaps that is why they get along? Darcy is also by far the most honest about her complex relationship with Catherine with a C. I really hope it wasn't her. Me too! I really hope it wasn't Darcy. Darcy's the best. Angela, the prior. Oh Lord, please grant me the strength to turn the other cheek. I do not like or trust this woman. She is from a convent in Italy, and I wish she would go back there. I take a small amount of comfort knowing I am not the only one who cannot stand her. Catherine with a K in particular seems to despise her. I don't think she killed Catherine with a C, but I know precious little about their relationship. I have to imagine it was as combative as ours. Moira, the infirmary. Moira is very kind and strong. Catherine with a C's death moved her deeply. I am impressed by her knowledge and the amount of work she is responsible for around the abbey. She doesn't like the villagers much. Adela, the oblate. She was the most recent oblate before I was made to leave my cell. I believe she had said she was from Spain, but her mother is Italian. She hasn't said much about Catherine to me yet, with a C. She's much more interested in battle strategy.
Battle G.
Did we ever hear that it was her mother specifically that was Italian?
We heard, I don't know.
Because that was, I was wondering about that, because we had heard that she was from Spain,
Yeah.
but that she was engaging in Italian customs, and I'm like,
That
okay,
she got
so,
from her mother.
Yeah, I don't think we ever got it that was specifically from her mother.
We did hear specifically that it was an Italian thing and that she got it from her mother. I don't know that we heard that her mother was Italian.
Got it, okay.
But we might have. I might have just not heard that bit.
Flora, I'm not really sure what she does. Flora is frustrating. Later today, I am to begin teaching her how to draw. I'm not sure that I can. Never taught anyone anything so directly. I'm more adept at offering spiritual advice. She doesn't seem to take her faith seriously, which concerns me. Marta, the cellar keeper. The eldest member of the congregation, but not the superior. I wonder why that is. I suppose she could be a latecomer to Lynbarrow. Her and Charity both seem to have moved around a lot. At first I thought she was kind and wise, but the more I hear from her, the more uneasy I am around her. She is wise, but she is cold. Some of her behavior reminds me of my most vindictive thoughts, which embarrasses and humbles me. Charity, the almoner. Charity is gregarious and kind. She discovered Catherine's with a C's body, and I can scarcely bring myself to ask her about all that whenever I see her big, soft smile. She seems to have seen a lot in her life, and she's served at several abbeys. I wonder why she's settled here. I also wonder how she puts up with Marta's cynical exterior. We haven't spoken much, save for her reassurance about Angela. James, stable boy and suspect. He is rather pathetic. I do find it hard to believe he killed anyone. His family seemed willing to believe it, however. I am not sure what to make of that. I do feel compelled to protect him. Richard, the Bishop of Carlisle. This man made me an anchoress. I cannot look at him without wondering how disappointed he must be for allowing myself to be dragged out of my cell. Another look at Hedwig. Hedwig, okay, so Hedwig, everyone else has their sprite up here, right?
Yep.
But Hedwig gets art, like a crop out of artwork.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I guess she doesn't have sprites in game. We knew that, but still. Fascinating. Oh, and it's got the whole jukebox here. Oh, that's awesome. That's delightful. You know what that is? That's wonderful, and you should get this soundtrack. Hold on.
I see. Rubbing it in that I'm wrong about whether this track sounds like Godspeed to cap off the episode.
Yeah, just rubbing it in a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you all for joining us on Misericorde Volume 1. We'll see you all for Volume 2. And again, if you've got stuff you want to share with us, comment section or in the Discord. And hopefully we'll have another theory speculation video for you at some point in the future.
Indeed.
So this is my favorite Eustace right here.
Yeah.
Just like,
look at all the fucks I give.
you see this? This is where I would put the fucks that I give. If I had any. Dogo. Oh, I skipped one.
Yeah, you jumped down a row.
Yeah,
right?
I
Whoa. What the fuck?
Okay. Hi there. So I right-clicked. I was going to say, I don't think we've seen this CG.
Yeah, what
have
is
we?
this?
This is a new CG. And also, hello there.
Who is this? Who is this?
Oh, steady on. That never happened now, did it? I'd say it was my mistake, but... oh, is this meant to be...
Who is this? We don't know.
It wasn't really. I might have let it slip. On purpose. She hates it when I fiddle with her hobbies. Can you believe that? It's a bit rude not to share. Especially with dear, close friends. It's even ruder to hide from friends if you ask me. But we're due for a reunion, I think. All thanks to you. Oh, don't look so nervous. You've helped me, and I'm a very generous woman. I can tell that you like to read. At least I hope you do if you made it this far. I mean, if not, what are you doing? How about just a little bit more? I think you'll find this interesting. I found it lying around somewhere or another. I don't know if it's entirely accurate, but, what is? So as soon as we finished recording, Vivian shouts something that I can't hear from the bathroom because it's too muffled. And I'm over here doing all my, end of episode recording stuff. She comes out and she's like, gotta set everything back up.
We missed
Come
content.
on, we missed something. We missed content. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Welcome to more content. Excuse me, ma'am. I would really appreciate it if we could avoid causing a scene here.
I bought this ticket. This is bullshit.
Ma'am, please. I ain't stopping you for getting on the plane. I'm just warning you that you may need to remove your piercings to get through security.
Why? Are they going to reflect off the rear view mirror? Are they going to mess with the radar? Do they look explosive or something?
Sweetie, can you not say the X word so loud? You're making the other people in line nervous.
Sorry, which word? Explosive?
Real handsome Jack energy on that one.
A few of the other clerks next to the woman I was speaking to glanced over, eyebrows raised. I was getting a kick out of making these people squirm, I gotta admit. But it was beyond bullshit that I was being told to remove my piercings just to go through airport security.
Yes, stop saying it so loud, or, at all. Not to mention your jacket is,
After typing hastily into her terminal for a few more seconds, the woman finally handed back my passport. My ticket sputtered out of a loud machine, and I snatched it before she had a chance to take it.
Have a pleasant flight. I do apologize if I caused any offense by commenting on your, jewelry and stuff.
Something tells me you don't warn everyone about the metal detector.
Just trying to be helpful, ma'am.
I rolled my eyes and stepped away. It was a good thing I'd gotten to the airport early. I was hungry as fuck. I heaved my backpack onto my shoulders and set off toward my terminal. I figured I'd at least have time to grab a snack before I got on the plane. There were a decent amount of folks in line to get through the detector. The line moved quick, so when I got to the security guy, he sort of gave me this, oh great, look.
All metal objects in the bin with your bag, please.
I rolled my eyes and started dechroming myself. Studded bracelets off, nose ring off, earrings out, vest off, more studs.
Now why the hell would you wear all of that to the airport?
Man, shut up. The guard raised his eyebrows and opened his mouth to say something, but quickly stopped when he saw me lean over to rest one arm against the X-ray machine next to the metal detector and reach down to my leg. I probably should have opted for one of the wheelchairs outside the terminal to get around the airport, but fuck it. I had a lot of energy ahead of this trip and I wanted to travel light. I dunked my leg into the bin with the rest of my shit and hopped toward the guard.
Dunked your leg into the bin, right after a big scene where someone lost their leg before dying.
Yeah, huh? That's
Yeah.
interesting. I'm gonna do a little spin thing through it. The guy stepped back a bit to let me put one arm through the metal detector.
I love the sheer power move of like, yeah, I'm not going to bring a wheelchair with me, but I'm going to make it your problem today.
Then jumped through it to rest both arms against the conveyor belt that fed out of the x-ray machine.
Oh, slick.
A few people waiting in line behind me clapped. I rolled my eyes.
Woo!
My bag and bits came through across the belt. I took a second to put myself back together and to thank God that none of my other piercings had set the machine off.
Oh no. Oh no. The implication.
When I was putting my jacket back on, the guard commented on my back patch.
I don't know if I'd wear that to the airport.
I'm gonna do something about it. He laughed.
Easy, easy. You're at like, here.
He held his hand up in the air.
And I'm like, way down here. Why are you flying?
The UK.
Oh, where are you flying? Oh yeah, you're gonna need to come way, way down from up there. That's a long flight.
What's it to you? He was waving more people through as I put my studs and rings back on.
Oh, nothing at all. I just don't like seeing people fly mad.
Not sure that's your jurisdiction, cop.
I'm a cop.
Do you think you're not a cop?
A real boring beat for a cop.
You got a badge and everything.
It's a private security gig, ma'am.
So you're like a mall cop.
Man, I wish. I get to walk more, I think.
Yeah, well, still a cop.
How many of those doodads and piercings do you have anyway?
More than you'll ever see.
Ma'am, I promise you I am not bringing the hostility to this conversation that you are perceiving.
Sorry. It's just, you know.
Do I?
It was hard not to grin at this guy, profession aside. Cop. Folks were passing by and taking their bags as the guard waved them through.
What's your name?
Alex.
Is that real or is that just what you tell cops?
Nah, that's real. I don't tell cops anything.
See, that's good. We're opening a dialogue here.
Not real cops.
Ouch.
No, see, that's good.
Damn, if I feel like Jimmy Carter. I'm building a real framework for peace here.
Man, fuck off with that.
Shoot. I got you back up again after all that. Look, I don't know what any of that political shit means. I just hear the news at the break room sometimes.
It is what it is, I guess. I finally finished getting my shit together and turned away from the conversation to head toward the terminal.
Have a good flight now, ma'am.
Uh-huh. Look, I don't have time right now, but if I ever see you again, I'm going to recommend you some books to explain some stuff, all right? I winced as soon as the words spilled out. It sounded cooler in my head. How, I don't know, but I swear it did.
Okay, then. Looking forward to it.
Weirdo. Even with all those distractions, I'd ended up with some time before my flight. I figured I'd grab a burger or something, go over my itinerary, etc., etc. The fast food place was pretty busy, but the line moved quick enough, and I soon had a nice bag of garbage to fuel me through an international flight.
So they're probably going from America to UK. So is this someone studying the Lindbarrow Monastery after the fact?
I don't know. There weren't any free tables, but there was an empty bar stool near the front of the place at the long table where all the single travelers were eating. Or at least it would have been empty if there wasn't a handbag on it. You good if I sit here?
Of course. Yeah, sure.
My stool was in the corner next to the wall. My neighbor was a preppy-looking woman wearing a purple knitted turtleneck. She had a pair of those big hoop earrings, bright red lipstick, stick-on nails, bangs that covered her eyes. Not really my scene, but fuck it, I wasn't going to eat standing up. She lifted the bag up onto the table and drummed her fingers against the seat. The red pleather was faded and cracked, and when I got up close, I could see that the bar stools and table were covered in rude graffiti. Thanks.
Yeah, my pleasure, darling. Where you headed?
Burger Town. She chuckled as I unwrapped my food.
Didn't know they had an airport there.
England.
Oh, no, that's funny. Me as well.
8:17, the 3 o'clock.
That's the one.
Small world. You going home or,
Oh, did me accent give it away?
She definitely
Oh,
played
did
it
the
up.
accent give it away?
She definitely played it up a little for that response.
Every version of that is going to be some kind of offensive. Good to know it's back to normal then. I could have passed for a real valley girl before I got to the terminal. Always pick up a bit of local flavor from wherever I'm visiting.
So you got your English voice back when you started thinking about home? That's cool.
Something like that. It's all a bit mental, ain't it? You can say that here, of course, and it's ruder in the UK.
Yeah?
Shouldn't say mental. And trucks are lorries. Oh, and do you smoke?
What gave it away?
Well, try not to get cross if anyone offers you,
Chill. I knew that one.
Well, that's good then.
She looked real pleased with herself. I never had much patience for people who like testing boundaries for fun, but I had nowhere else to go. Besides, who knows who else I'd meet if I left. I was running into some real head cases today.
Visiting family, then?
Yeah.
Whereabouts, if you don't mind me asking?
Up north a ways. I got a long-ass bus ride once I get to Heathrow.
That's not where Lynbarrow is it?
I don't remember where Lynbarrow is.
Ain't it funny how big a place like that can feel?
Sure, it could probably fit in Cali, right?
Oh, easily. Mind if I steal a chip?
Huh?
Oh, my mistake. A fry.
Oh, sure.
Thank you kindly.
The press-on nails didn't help, but I felt a little freaked out watching her pluck exactly one fry out of the box with her long fingers. That was a really good reenactment of the creepy yoink.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad that one somatic joke I made for you and you alone.
Thank you.
Is now. Thank you for giving it the vote of confidence.
Every time I take one of your fries now, I'm going to do that.
Why?
Because it's good.
Okay, I'll hold you to it.
Okay. It kind of looked like one of those nature shows where an eagle pulls the guts out of a fish or something. She ate it very carefully. I guess she had to. Her lipstick was pretty intense. And there wasn't a crumb or a spot of grease or anything on her expensive-looking outfit.
I do quite like those. Terrible for me, of course, but what isn't, eh?
It's what I can afford. Flights ain't cheap, turns out.
Too right.
She sucked her finger and thumb clean and dried them on one of my napkins.
Well, safe travels.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. She smiled at me and slid off her bar stool with a clack. I realized she was wearing expensive heels, too expensive for anyone I've ever seen eating shit fast food at LAX. I could hear every footstep across the tile floor as she left. I finished my burger and stuffed all the crap in the paper bag to throw away. As I got off the seat, I realized that woman's handbag was still on the counter. Ah, fuck. I really didn't feel like running errands, but if we were going to be on the same flight... I took the bag and got going toward the gate. I must have spent way too long eating that shitty burger because when I finally got to the gate, they were already boarding. Technically, I think I was supposed to get on the plane first. Oh well. Guess I can't do that if I ain't here.
Just so you know, ma'am, you can only put one bag under the seat.
Yeah, I got it. I almost said that the handbag wasn't mine, but I realized that was probably not the best thing to tell someone right before getting on a plane. Have you ever been on a plane? It was my first time. It feels weird on planes. As soon as you step in, it feels like the air is constantly being sucked away from you, which I guess it kind of is. That's how the air conditioning or whatever works. It's like you're yawning, even when you're not yawning.
It's a great way of putting it, actually.
Or like you got earplugs in, even though you don't. It feels like dog shit, that's for sure. I was looking around for the woman I'd met at the fast food place, but I couldn't see her anywhere. Everyone was standing in the aisles, putting their bags away, taking their jackets and sweaters off, etc., etc. It was going to be impossible to find her.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, but you're gonna need to make some room. Do you need help finding a seat?
Huh? Oh, no, sorry about that. Well, shit. I wasn't far from my seat, but I was real nervous about keeping this lady's bag with me. What if I got all the way to a foreign country with someone else's shit? What if she'd been wrong about what flight she was on? Would that be like an international crime? The last thing I needed was Interpol coming after my ass over some rich lady's handbag. I sat down in my window seat and tried to stay calm. I figured I could at least wait until we were in the air and I could walk around to make sure she wasn't on the flight before panicking too hard.
Now here's a coincidence. Oh. Now here's a coincidence. I don't remember what voice I gave her.
Doesn't matter. Oh, thank God. Hey, you left your bag on the table earlier. She put her hands over her chest and opened her mouth like a fish.
Oh my God, thank you. Would have been proper devote if I had left it behind.
She sat down next to me and I handed her the bag. She started reaching around inside it, I guess to check if anything had gotten lost.
Ooh, all here.
Then she pulled out a fat wad of bills and a money clip.
Let's see.
Oh no, you don't gotta... She licked her thumb, peeled off a small stack of bills, and handed them to me.
Don't be silly.
This is $250.
Pounds, love, but yeah. Little pocket money for your trip, eh?
Well, thanks.
Now I'm Canadian, eh? Not at all. Thanks for bringing me my bag.
The accent that just keeps morphing every line.
This accent's doing a tour of the Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
I knew you were alright when I first saw you.
Weird.
What a coincidence we're in the same row, eh?
Guess so. I wanted something in the smoking section.
Oh, aye, me as well. Take it you don't mind then.
Nah, go for it.
Smoking section. Do planes still have smoking sections?
Not anymore, but when
that
is
gives
this?
us a time frame, actually. Hold on.
When did frames have smoking sections?
Like golden age of travel, I'm sure they did.
This is also after Jimmy Carter.
Yep, so after Jimmy Carter.
And like after the invention of punk, given that Alex is some sort of punk.
So that's what, at least 70s?
70s or 80s.
Stop having smoking section. On February 25th, 1990, the no smoking sign was permanently lit on U.S. domestic airline flights.
All right, so sometime after the mid-late 70s and before 1990.
Because when was Jimmy Carter president? Jimmy Carter.
Late 70s, right?
I honestly, I don't know off the top of my head. Was served as 39th president of the United States from 77 to 81.
Ooh.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to say 80s.
Yep.
80s.
She reached back into her bag and pulled out the most ridiculous pack of cigs I'd ever seen. The whole box was gold. Her lighter was almost a perfect match. The hell are those?
Do you not get these here?
Maybe, but I never seen them. She held the box out to me and shook it so exactly one cig stuck out. Don't know how long she'd practiced that one, but it was impressive.
Seen any of the adverts for these?
No.
They're very chic. Go on then, try it. Be curious to know what you think. What's your use? Wow,
Taking
okay,
a firm
so
stand on spelling the use.
Yep. This was something I had to confront a while back when I was realizing, wait, I don't know how to spell out the word use. That is one of the ones that went through my head as an option. And it's the one that looks right when you say it, but also looks nothing like the word it's meant to be abbreviating, right?
Yep. It also requires you to think of the J as a je,
Yep.
as French, which you might not necessarily, if you don't already know that it's use.
Yep.
I usually smoke whatever low tars I can get my hands on.
Gotcha, not a big brand follower, eh?
Nah.
Yeah, either typically. Some people like to pit them against each other, but I'll try anything as long as I like the look.
Must be nice. She held her ridiculous lighter out to me. The cig she'd given me, I don't know if I'd call it good, but it sure tasted more expensive than my usual.
Like watches. You know anything about watches?
I know they're for telling the time. I held up my wrist to show her my cheap digital watch. She exhaled smoke but didn't respond.
Sort of. I mean, they are, but they aren't. You know what I mean? They're jewelry, really. Should get a nicer one.
They're way too expensive. My dad has one from some spy movie he liked as a kid. I asked how much it cost one time, and I was so mad when he told me.
Oh, does he now? That'd be nice. It's a proper automatic.
Digitals are so much cheaper.
Bit biased, I suppose.
Oh wait, sorry, that was our main character. I thought it was somebody else.
Yeah, okay. I just didn't update to Alex again.
Okay. She held up her arm and pulled her sweater sleeve down to reveal her own watch. It was bright gold, although the dial was a shocking pink that I wouldn't have associated with the luxury brand name inlaid in gold. Holy shit. How much was that?
Don't know, actually. Got this one instead of cash for some work I did a while back.
Okay, I gotta ask. What do you do?
Suppose I'd call myself a flaneur, if anything. A passante, if we're being grammatically correct.
So you're professionally French?
Okay, hold on.
A flaneur is someone who wanders around town, right?
Is that it? Hold on. Flaneur. is literally meaning a stroller, lounger, saunter, or loafer,
Yeah.
with some nuanced additional meanings, including as a loan word into English. Okay, yeah. So literally just like a dandy about town.
Yeah.
And the other one is passante. Why am I searching?
Which you'll find in the same Wikipedia article
Yep, yeah, you're right.
as just being the feminine equivalent of that.
There you go.
She laughed. She leaned back in her seat and flicked up the little ashtray in the armrest so she could ash her cigarette.
Technically, I'm in publishing. Bit of location scout, I think is the best way to describe it. I take special assignments. I travel a lot. I enjoy people watching.
I had no idea publishers could afford that kind of lifestyle.
Lots of people out there buying books not to read, love.
I laughed. Fair enough.
So what you actually read? I'd be curious to know if you've seen any of mine.
Like, I've skimmed Capital.
Haven't we all?
I like Chomsky.
Any fiction?
I don't have time for fiction.
Ooh, that stings.
If I'm reading something, I want it to matter. I can do other stuff for fun, I guess. She nodded thoughtfully. The captain came over the loudspeaker and announced something. It was impossible to tell what exactly, thanks to the shitty mic. Plus, books are expensive. I gotta pick stuff that counts. I feel like I know how every story is gonna go the second I read the first sentence. She pointed at me with her cigarette approvingly.
Not so different then. I just come down to the other end, I suppose. But I get it. Who needs a book to tell you what you already know? I prefer fiction myself. You just need to read different kinds of fiction. I never know what I'm going to get.
So, what kind of books do you publish anyway?
I'm not the publisher, I'm just in publishing.
So, you're the heiress to a publishing company or something. She gave me a wicked grin.
Like I said, I'd call myself a flaneur. A passante for being grammatically correct.
It was around this point that the plane's engine started up. We put our cigarettes out and adjusted our seats to get ready for takeoff.
You ever been on a plane before?
First time.
Don't let the bumpiness get to you. And that was the sound of like a VHS tape or something?
Yeah, because that was the framing device. Right?
Yeah, it was. It was.
So what the fuck was that?
Yeah, what the fuck? All right. I don't know. I got fucking nothing right now.
That was the cat scene that didn't happen? Huh.
Yeah, that's the cat scene that didn't happen.
Interesting.
It also shows Hedwig, right?
Yeah.
That didn't, and that's Flora getting mad about it?
Yeah.
And someone in a nun outfit. Huh. Well, now we're really done.
Yeah.
So you can thank that last little bit there for making this a separate episode on Friday instead of getting tacked on to Monday's episode. So, I mean, you got that going for you. We'll see you next time, everyone. Bye.
Peace.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.